The tip is won by FDU, and let it get into the hands of the talented junior Jaleel Jenkins, unanimous first team All-NEC, an assists machine is he. Lobbed already in the early going. Caleb Bishop bullying his way through Fusini, trying to make the freshman but can't finish. Fusini comes up with it. Fusini's going to take it all the way, almost walked there, but Fusini coast to coast.
Took long strides to get to the basket, was able to split defenders. A good start for the Peacocks.
Fusini, the freshman, 6'7" out of Mali, shown in the FIBA U19 World Cup over the summer with his native Mali, led them to the final game against the United States. Elijah Williams, the native of Evanston, Illinois, with the ball up top. Working on Derrick Woods, the senior out of Trenton, New Jersey. Bishop, the turnaround Jay from the free throw line, and the St. Anthony product starts the scoring for FDU.
And now we see the Knights picking up with some pressure. The Peacocks have to handle it.
St. Peter's a little over 17 turnovers per game on average as a team, one of the low water marks in the nation. Forced 19 against St. John's, but also committed 19. In a game where they came back from 24 points down in the second half, cut it to 6 points.
The pressure isn't always to get steals, it's to get you late in the clock. Right now the Peacocks are just 6 to shoot.
Woods trying to spin in the lane. 3 to shoot. Quinn Taylor has to put something up quick. He does from 3, off the back iron, but Woods corrals at the line. Matthew Lee, the freshman guard with royal bloodlines, the son of Butch Lee, the legend from Marquette University. He now has 10 to shoot. Looking for Woods in the post, guarded nicely by Bishop. Doug Eddert, the sharpshooter out of Bergen Catholic. 2 seconds for Lee to shoot. Lee from 30. And that did not hit the rim.
Coach Arenda has to love the defense to start the ball game. Consecutive possessions there for the Peacocks. They got the offensive rebound. A long bounce out to the foul line. But the Peacocks trying to spread the floor. The Knights in good position.
Some full court man press is showing here for St. Peter's as Jenkins hounded by Lee into the front court. Jaleel Jenkins, 6'0" junior from West Virginia. Here's the key man, Xavier Malone Key, no pun intended. Broke out with 29 points against Quinnipiac. He now has 9 to shoot. He takes the baseline. Jenkins from the free throw line, the pull-up. And it finds its way home.
That was a tough shot. The pass came from along the baseline, inside out. Jenkins didn't have a great look, had a teammate open, decided to take him himself.
And there's the turnover game we talked about. Great defense at the rim from Quinn Taylor, staying straight up. Taylor, the senior out of Amarillo, Texas. Great feed to Woods. He can't finish, but he will get 2 free throws.
And that's what the Peacocks need to do against pressure. Once you get a couple of defenders caught in the backcourt, push it ahead, make them pay for pressing.
Matthew Lee with a nice pass. He picked up 3 assists in the game over St. John's. Derrick Woods, 12 of 13 from the free throw line this year. He is much improved, 69% shooting last year.
Woods has a couple of big bodies to go against tonight. The Peacocks are going to need him to be an important part of the offense.
Woods out of Trenton, New Jersey, the transfer from the University of Delaware Blue Hens. Played some limited minutes last year, was only eligible in the second semester, but came off the bench, provided some depth in the front court, some depth that's now sorely needed for this team.
And it seemed like last year it was a bit of a struggle as to where he fit in the rotation. But it's his senior year. He needs to get down low and pound away and give the Peacocks some good interior defense and scoring.
Trapping Malone Key, it's out to Bishop. Bishop goes in on Lee. Elijah Williams, good ball movement. Malone Key from downtown, misses it strong. And that's the defensive rebounding that St. Peter's needs to have. One of the leading offensive rebounding teams in the country. Fusini Drame can't get it off glass. Taylor couldn't finish the tip, but it falls to Derrick Woods. Woods in the lane. Good D at the rim by Bishop. A scramble for the ball. And Woods
about 3 bodies down there.
Down on the ground with Elijah Williams, the 6'7" junior from Evanston, Illinois. And the arrow does favor St. Peter's.
A hard attack by Woods, getting to the basket, denied, still fighting for it. Williams in there, they wrestle for it. And the referee stepped in right away.
Fusini Drame in on that as well. Elijah Williams averaging 2 blocks per game this year. Also shooting an NEC leading 57% from the floor. Peacocks will have it underneath. Eddard didn't get the pass he wanted, or else he would have, in all likelihood, put it up from 3. Shooting an excellent percentage from downtown this year. Woods will try again in the post. He's doubled. Lee from downtown. The long rebound will fall to Doug Eddard.
Lee had Eddard wide open, decided to take it himself with the shot clock winding down. Peacocks gather another long rebound.
Lee 7 of 15 from 3 coming into this one, now with 9 to shoot. Lee gets the screen, has to work with 5. Quinn Taylor from the corner. And another offensive rebound grabbed by St. Peter's. Woods down low, met again at the rim by Bishop, but this time the foul is called.
I think there was a lot of ball up top, but some contact down low. And the Peacocks slow to get started here. They got the first basket of the game, but since then the FDU defense has really clamped down.
How about St. Peter's with 4 offensive rebounds already in this game? Number 5 in the country in offensive rebounds per game coming in.
A couple of them were lucky, though. You get late in the clock, you have to put up a 3. Those were longer rebounds, but you like the attitude St. Peter's getting underneath and attacking the glass.
Averaging a little over 15 offensive rebounds per game. Derrick Woods back to the line. Woods started his college career at St. Bonaventure and played well in his freshman year before heading down to Newark, Delaware, and a trip up north to Jersey City.
If you look at the minutes played between these two teams, it's really spread out for St. Peter's. FDU with 5 guys playing 24 minutes per game or more. So if the Peacocks can get the Knights into a bit of foul trouble, that would certainly benefit their cause.
So Woods now 3 of 4 from the line, and you mentioned it, the differences in depth between these two teams is stark. FDU yet to sub. St. Peter's also yet to sub today. Normally we see a few of those per minute. From the short corner, Bishop comes up short. Fusini went coast to coast in the first possession of the game for St. Peter's. This time gives it off to the freshman from Puerto Rico.
Peacocks need to get some motion going here. That's what Coach Holloway wanted. Instead, Lee takes it to the basket.
Woods couldn't come up with it. Fusini Drame does. He misses to the left. Another offensive rebound by these Peacocks. Lee feigns the 3. The runner from 10. This time the freshman Rush comes up with it for FDU. Jenkins with a head of steam. But Lee meets him at the perimeter.
You like the move by Lee, getting in the paint, trying the floater. You have to do that against bigger bodies.
Rush skips it to Jenkins. Good D by Lee, cutting off the baseline. 10 to shoot for Jenkins. Steps back the long 2.
Nothing you can do about that. That's just a tough shot. The step back from the corner. The last couple of shots for FDU have been contested.
Gene Holloway not happy with that. Jaleel Jenkins averaging a little over 14 a game.
You know, at some point in the game, Jenkins is going to try and take over. He's an energetic player. He can step from beyond the arc a couple of feet. We've seen that in the last couple of FDU games.
Doug Eddard, who's yet to attempt a shot. Quinn Taylor, who didn't start against St. John's but was a spark off the bench, finds Woods down low.
Another opportunity for Woods. He converts this one. A nice pass by the veteran Quinn Taylor.
Quinn Taylor, the do-it-all man, with his first assist of this game. Woods with his first field goal. He now has 5 of the 7 for the Peacocks. Xavier Malone Key, who missed the first 4 games of this season, broke out with 29 against Quinnipiac.
Peacocks in a 2-3 zone. They've been changing it up to start the game.
Williams is denied by Woods, goes back in. Woods alters that shot, and he will smartly slow it down.
Message is clear. The officials are going to let the big boys play tonight.
Woods imposing his will in the early going. A great sign for Peacock fans who have been waiting for Derrick Woods to fill that role as the true center for this team. He's knocked out of bounds by Bishop, and that'll lead us to our first timeout with St. Peter's on top. 7.
And tonight, though, it's been about the inside play. Very physical underneath, though we've only had 2 fouls so far.
Doug Eddard steps out of bounds. A couple players missing for each team. For FDU, the talented freshman guard Devin Dunn is out for the 5th straight game. And for St. Peter's, Dallas Watson and Nazir Bostic both out with an illness. Bostic today replaced in the starting lineup by Quinn Taylor, and we see Cameron Jones into the game for the first time for St. Peter's, coming off of his ACL injury last year, only played 2 minutes against St. John's. Malone Key as St. Peter's stays in that 2-3 zone. Bishop the long two. Cameron Jones, a prolific three-point shooter, 15 of 33 last year from beyond the arc before his injury.
Jones provides some veteran leadership for the Peacocks in the game against St. John's. Peacocks were struggling early, and Coach went to Jones to get him some early action.
And Jones, a beautiful feed to Darrell Banks III, who's also into the game for the first time. Banks will shoot two, the 6'3 freshman originally from Los Angeles. Played his high school ball at the Patrick School. He won the Tournament of Champions back in 2017. Averaging a little under 6 points per game, 8 of 13 from the line so far. And Banks just another cog in the backcourt depth for St. Peter's.
Coach Holloway now going to his bench, showing off some of that depth.
Going for Aaron Estrada, who we highlighted before the game. Coming off the bench once again. Estrada, the 6'4 freshman from Woodbury, New Jersey, played at St. Benedict's Prep. And Hassan Drame comes in for his brother Fusini as Banks hits a pair. And St. Peter's leads by 3.
Made free throw allows the Peacocks to press.
Jones will keep an eye on his minutes. Again, only 2 against St. John's. We imagine the Peacocks coaching staff will want to gradually ease him into this season. But such a weapon he can be when he's healthy. It's Bishop in the high post. Brandon Powell into the game for the first time for FDU, the 6'2 sophomore guard from New York. He has it in the corner with 3 to shoot. Powell nowhere to go. Jenkins will have to put it up. He did not get it off in time.
You got to be ready to play when you get in the game. I don't think Powell is aware, and we've seen a few times on each side of the floor where the shot clock has gotten late, under 5 seconds.
St. Peter's clamping down on the defensive end. They've played great defense so far this year, holding opponents to just 41% shooting overall. Estrada with his first touch of this game. Can make magic with the dribble. Casey Nadefo in for the first time. Nadefo, the physical player, barrels into a man. Powell hits the deck, but just a blocking foul. Casey Nadefo, the 6'6 sophomore from Elmont, New York.
We've seen a lot of action around the rim so far, and I'm sure Nadefo would like to get into the act. He catches at the elbow, a hard drive. Defender didn't have position. You like the aggressiveness by Nadefo to start. They're going to say it's on the floor. Nadefo has struggled from the foul line.
Nadefo just 11 of 22 from the line, but he has given this team a spark coming off the bench. He's only played in 3 of the 5 games, but 10 blocks in those 3, one of the leading block artists in the MAC last season. Banks crossing over to his left. Jones looking for his first field goal attempt of the season. Banks will try from 3.
Peacocks got into the paint. The return pass from Jones is a good look, just a bit too strong.
Banks hit a couple threes in succession against St. John's to help lead the comeback. And Brandon Powell from downtown.
We said Powell maybe not ready to come into the game. When he first touched it on that last possession, he was ready there, drains a long one.
Powell with his 7th three-pointer of the season, tying it up at 9. Estrada, it's Jones, still looking for that first shot. Jones, the senior from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, high school teammate of Derrick Woods at Pennsbury. The zone look 2-3 for FDU. Hassan, the jumper. Still loose down low, grabbed by Bishop.
I think Banks wanted it on the near side for an open 3, but that's a good look from the foul line.
Powell will take himself, and he is reached into by Aaron Estrada.
To put points on the board. They're scoring 61 points per game.
St. Peter's last in the nation in overall shooting percentage. Just speaks to the inexperience, but signs of that freshman orientation, as Daryl Jacobs likes to say, coming to fruition as Bishop is denied by Hassan Drame on the turnaround. Estrada taking it the other way, lobbed to Nadefo.
There's the court vision from Estrada that we talked about. The Peacocks with the good defense, it turns into offense. They need some easy baskets.
Estrada already making an impact, coming off the bench with his first assist. Malone Key will take the baseline, but Banks stays right with him. Skip to Powell looking for his second 3.
Not a good decision. Bishop was wide open in the paint. Instead, they get a contested three.
Cameron Jones for Banks. Banks finds the lane. Banks finds Hassan Drame.
That was a beautiful look, inside-out basketball, but I think someone opened the door because that one missed by about 3 feet.
Well, Hassan has struggled from three, just 5 of 25 in the World Cup, stripped by Banks. Williams got it back, but he's reached into by Cameron Jones.
But if you're out on the floor, you have to continue to take that shot. It was wide open. The Peacocks, we saw that against St. John. They've been able to get in the paint and find open shooters. So here we see the drive, the lob, Nadefo with the hops. Doesn't have to come down with it, just lays it up and in over the rim.
So athletic is KC Nadefo, can jump out of the gym. Last season threw down some hellacious dunks. As we get our first look for FDU at Daniel Rodriguez, the 6'6" freshman out of Newark, played his high school ball here in Jersey City at Hudson Catholic. Rodriguez with his first touch. Brandon Rush back into this game for FDU. Williams working on Majak, the big 7'1" center. 5 to shoot for Jenkins. Williams, a big man from 3. And Estrada comes down with the board.
Not the shot Coach Horrenda wanted, but with the shot clock winding down, the good defense by the Peacocks, he has to put it up. At some point, you think you would see Malone Key try to impose his will on the game, or at least Jenkins.
Jones almost walking on his pivot foot. KC Nadefo lost the handle of the ball, taken away by Jenkins. Out in front for Rush, the reverse.
And that's what FDU wants to do. Nadefo just losing the handle, really an unforced turnover, leads directly to an FDU basket.
So a steal and an assist from Jaleel Jenkins, who can fill up the stat sheet quickly. His 310th career assist at FDU, just the junior. KC Nadefo. It's Estrada, he turns it over. Stolen away by Powell. Powell all the way over Nadefo. He can't finish. Estrada comes up with it. And Estrada will smartly slow it down.
Nobody stopped the basketball for St. Peter's, but Nadefo's athletic ability was able to deny the basket.
Cameron Jones, his first field goal attempt back from injury, is a 3-point make. Should not come as a surprise to Peacock fans.
He had a couple of opportunities for an early three, didn't take it. Right there in the corner, was wide open and stroked it.
Jenkins, the catalyst on offense so far. All the way, Williams barrels into Banks, but the blocking foul is whistled.
FDU has had a couple of opportunities to get the ball inside. On that play, Rodriguez had position, instead the drive to the basket, a collision underneath. We've seen a lot of physical play so far.
The Jones three was the first of the game for St. Peter's. So Williams looking like an issue with a contact lens. The 6'7" junior from Evanston, Illinois, with 8 points against Kentucky. 57% field goal shooting on the year.
He's a banger. He led the NEC in field goal percentage last season at 60%.
So take another look at the lob before from Estrada to Nadefo.
And a similar play in transition off the Peacock turnover.
Cameron Jones, such a great sight to see. He was injured in the game last December against LIU, almost a year to the day, right here at the Yanatelli Center. So the issue seems to be fixed with Elijah Williams.
Jones has excellent form. There's no reason for him not to shoot 40% from three-point range and add to this team in MAC play.
Williams true on the first, 15 of 22 from the line coming in. Doug Ennert returns to the floor for St. Peter's.
And I think you'll see a lot of that Jones playing in spurts. Ennert had a turnover, an unforced turnover off a timeout, and he went out of the game, so he's back in.
Majak, you can't miss him with the rebounds. 7'1", originally from South Sudan. High school teammate of the man with the ball, Darrell Banks at the Patrick School. Estrada finds Majak, but he's denied by Williams. The late whistle for the foul.
And that was a late whistle. Great job by Estrada getting into the paint. So here we see Estrada on the attack, the no-look feed from behind. A lot of ball, but a lot of arm.
And we'll be right back here in Jersey City. You mentioned, Chris, St. Peter's turned the ball over 22 times. Tonight the story, not so much the turnovers, but the rebounding. The Peacocks out-rebounding FDU 18-6 so far.
Tonight has been a slugfest. The Peacocks very aggressive on the offensive glass. Last year, it was a lot of Devontae Turner for St. Peter's, a guard-driven game, much more high-scoring affair. Just 27 points so far here at the Anatelli Center.
And Major Majak picks up his 3rd point this season. The 7'1" sophomore hits a pair.
That looked pretty good. He was out practicing them about 2 hours before the game.
Majak had some trouble adjusting to the Division I game last season. Could be a big weapon off the bench for Shaheen Holloway. From the elbow, Bishop finds Rush from the corner. That's a 3.
FDU gets the ball to the high post, even though it's a contested shot. Good ball movement to get the 3 from the corner.
Rush with his 11th three-pointer of the season. Eddard for the answer.
That's a great look by Estrada. Eddard shot ready. That's how you break a zone.
Doug Eddard, 46% coming in. Bishop looking like he almost lost the handle of the ball, but the foul will go against St. Peter's, and Shaheen Holloway can't believe it.
And I think he said, no way. And now he wants an explanation. Another late whistle. We've seen a couple of those so far.
So Shaheen Holloway will send 3 players up from his bench. Fusini Drame, Derrick Woods, and Quinn Taylor back in for St. Peter's. And B.J. Saliba Jr. in for the first time for FDU, the 6'4" sophomore hometown kid from Hackensack. FDU just 2 of 6 on the season, beating Division III FDU Florham in their opener as Jenkins hits the long 2.
Knights are going to continue to run their offense, get the ball into the paint, the kick out, look for a 3. Jenkins an excellent shooter when he catches in rhythm like that.
FDU also victorious over Quinnipiac by 1 point. Jenkins now with 6 on the day. Doug Eddard from Bergen Catholic High School led them to the Tournament of Champions final game last year. Fusini Drame looking down low for Taylor, but maybe not the best decision, bailed out with the kicked ball.
Wasn't great spacing there. Players were too close together, so when a player dribbles at you, make that hard cut along the baseline, you need to have a seam to get that pass through. The one-handed lefty pass went off the foot. Peacock's lucky to keep it.
Fusini Drame averaging 12 points per game in the U19 World Cup of Basketball over the summer. Estrada will whip it into the backcourt for the product of our Save You New American High School, Fusini. Estrada, another slow possession for St. Peter's. Peacocks 296th in the nation in tempo. Estrada the up and under, can't get it off glass.
It's a crafty move, leaning in to avoid the defender, put it up much too strong.
Jenkins splits a pair and floats it home.
And that's gotta make Coach Holloway sick. Nobody stopped the basketball. Yeah, Jenkins is quick, but you can't let him use that push dribble to get in the paint.
8 points for Jenkins on 4 of 5 shooting. He has been ever impressive tonight, adding 2 steals as well. Taylor, a pure slasher. He goes up and under, and he finishes.
That is Quinn Taylor's game. We talked about it the other night. He gets in the game. If he plays too many minutes, the production maybe not where you want it to be. That was the case last season. This year he's playing about the right amount of minutes.
Bishop lost the ball. Eddard picked it up. Great feed for Estrada. He misses, but Fusini jams it home.
Excellent hustle by Drame, not assuming that the layup's going to be made. Peacocks giving the Knights some of their own medicine.
An unforced turnover, as you say, Chris, as St. Peter's extends the lead to 4. It hasn't gone beyond it today. Rush will try another 3. This time he misses short. But the second offensive rebound of the game for FDU, it's Jenkins from downtown.
Those offensive rebounds are a great opportunity to shoot 3s. Jenkins able to step into it when the game was slow to see. Head coach at Kane as well. Great interview post-game. So he's known for being gregarious, just like you.
Oh, you can loosen it up too, I hear, Chris, as Doug Eddard turns it over. Jenkins with the 2-on-1. He'll take himself off balance, was rejected by Doug Eddard. Fusini in the open court. He's barreled into by Bishop.
end-to-end action, and turnovers will create that. The Peacocks give one away off the timeout, which has to make Coach Holloway sick, but Eddard recovered, got a piece of the ball, and Peacocks attacking the basket.
Fousseyni Dramé just 5 of 11 from the line this year. He and his brother Hassan just so raw, so much potential between the two of them. Their commitment to St. Peter's created some waves last season as he hits the first. Both coming from Our Savior New American High School out in Center Reach. High school teammates with Jonathan Kaminga, right now the #1 rated junior in the nation. Fousseyni splits a pair.
Peacocks applying pressure off the miss.
Rush, the skip for Saliba. The big man Daniel Rodriguez going to go to work on Derrick Woods. The jump stop, nowhere to go. Quinn Taylor reached in, looked like a clean strip. But the late whistle coming from referee Ryan Corbett.
Take a look at it here. Rodriguez in the paint, spinning, has nowhere to go with it. Then Taylor reaches in and he gets him on the arm.
Clearly a foul on Quinn Taylor, just the 4th team foul. The first on Quinn Taylor. There's a bit of a delay right now at the scorer's table. Quinn Taylor averaged over 31 minutes per game last season. This year, just 16 minutes per game. Just speaks to the amount of depth that this Peacocks team has as compared to last year. Devontae Turner, the all-conference guard for the Peacocks, played nearly every minute of every game.
But I think those number of minutes really suit Taylor with the way he plays. You just want him to go in there, or whatever minute he is on the floor. You want him to attack, be aggressive, play hard defense, and take a charge when needed. See a lead pass there to Estrada, but Drame's able to clean it up.
Well, it was his brother Hassan who actually won the slam dunk contest here during the preseason pep rally for St. Peter's. Both can slam it home with authority. Well, this man has played with authority. Jaleel Jenkins with 11 points already. Saliba, the nice feed for Rodriguez. In traffic, can't finish. Fight forward, down low. It's going to be a foul whistled against St. Peter's as Mark Datica checks in for the first time. He grabbed the rebound for FDU.
Rodriguez underneath, 3 Peacocks surrounding him. St. Peter's couldn't get the rebound. They battled for it. We've seen a lot of congestion underneath the basket on both ends of the floor.
Mark Danica, the 6'11" redshirt freshman out of Saddlebrook, New Jersey. And a blocking foul is going to be whistled. It looked like referee Ryan Corbett pointing to the restricted area in calling the foul on Matthew Lee, the blocking foul. And Rush will go to the line for 2.
Rush is quick, gave the jab step, attacked Eddard to the baseline. Good position there, but you can see the heel inside the restricted area.
Well, in that instance, Lee didn't even try and take the charge. He seemed to just stay straight up. The restricted area only applicable when you're the off-ball defender trying to take that charge.
Well, that's left to interpretation, and in that case, it doesn't go the Peacocks' way.
Well, Rush gets his own rebound. Saliba will tee it up. Tipped by Woods, will fall for Doug Eddard, almost bumped into by Rush. The Peacock bench and fans want the call. Fousseyni, the underhand feed for Woods. He's fouled again.
Good job by Woods sticking with it. Mishandled it at first. Here we see Eddard with a couple of hands on his back and a bump. Peacocks didn't get the call, but Eddard wisely pushed the ball up the floor, and that'll result in the Peacocks getting a couple of free throws.
And that would have been 1-and-1 for the deadly free throw shooter Doug Eddard. Instead, 2 shots for Derrick Woods, who was 3 of 4 from the line today. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks. Has imposed his will at times down low.
And you can see why the defensive glass is so important for St. Peter's. When FDU has gotten offensive rebounds, they've not always look to go right back up at the rim. They've kicked it out for 3. Saliba missed that one, but Jenkins burned him earlier on offensive rebound that turned into a 3-point attempt.
St. Peter's out-rebounding the Knights 21-11 as Derrick Woods solid from the stripe tonight. 3-point lead for the Peacocks. Woods now 5 of 6 from the line. Datica turns. It's Saliba down the baseline. Into 2 men. Another late whistle will put the foul to St. Peter's.
Well, the Peacocks applying pressure with Jenkins. He's the one. The paint is a big issue for both of these teams. Struggling so far to get into an offensive rhythm. It's 26-23 as we near halftime. Both teams using a zone at times to force those 3-point shots. Offensive rebounding, a big part of this game.
Xavier Malone, key the leading scorer for FDU with no points, has been on the bench the past several minutes. No personal fouls for him. 2 fouls each for Caleb Bishop, as well as Elijah Williams for FDU. 2 fouls for Quinn Taylor for St. Peter's, as Saliba splits a pair. 2-point edge for the Peacocks here with under 4 to play in Jersey City. Thank you for joining us, James Karg and Chris Radicke on hand. Both Drames in the game, handing it off to each other. Doug Eddard, no room for him to shoot. Hassan Drame with 9 left on the shot clock. Lee spinning in. Great find for Nadefo.
How did he get it through? Just threading the needle. Nadefo, when he gets to the rim, he could just go up and finish over anyone.
It seems that Matthew Lee gets better every game he plays. One of the more efficient shooters as well, as Jenkins is trapped at it, but a touch foul whistled in the end on Hassan Drame.
And I think the message for both coaches going into halftime, this is usually a critical part of the game. We're going to get out, we're going to play aggressive defense, try and trap, force a turnover.
And there you see Lee again, the magic.
He uses the spin, the vision, just splitting defenders, and the quick jump by Nadefo.
An amazingly tight window. He fit that ball through as Jenkins 1-1. He knocks down the front end off the 19th foul for St. Peter's. Jenkins with his 12th point of the game on his first free throw attempt. Shooting 19 of 23 from the line so far. And he sinks 2.
And he's closing in on 1,000 points in his career.
Jaleel Jenkins, unanimous first team preseason all-conference this year, was on the NEC all-tournament team last season, leading the Knights to just their second NEC tournament championship under Greg Herenda and their first NCAA tournament victory in the first 4 against Prairie View A&M. Fusini the and 1.
Great job by the Peacocks. They spread the floor, then had 2 players flash to the high post. Drame driving to the strong hand, the right hand, lean the shoulder in, protected, and finish at the rim.
Well, speaking of players who have gotten better every game, Fusini very much in control there. First couple games he played, Fusini Drame a bit reckless at times, not letting the game come to him, but you see the patience and you see the poise from the freshman. A 5-point lead, it's the largest lead so far for St. Peter's. 3 of their last 4 from the floor. Xavier Malone Key back into this game for FDU. Finds Saliba from the corner. Malone Key came up with the offensive board, and the loose ball foul will go against FDU.
Wow.
Wow is right.
And here we see a wild contest in the corner. Off the back iron, they battle for it. Players come together. We've seen action like this all night. And Malone Key has to be wondering, how's that on me?
And Greg Herenda is saying, how on earth did that foul go against him and not against Doug Eddard, who undercut Malone Key as he got to the ball first?
And not only that, you put the Peacocks at the line.
And some questions will forever go unanswered. Greg Herenda has coached just about everywhere. He's coached at Yale, he's coached at UMass Lowell back when they were in Division II, and he's still having it out with Ron Taberski. It's the 1-1 for Hassan Drame. He sinks the first.
He's a Jersey guy, so you know he's going to be fiery. I like the way he has balanced his recruiting classes. Lost Darnell Edge and Mike Holloway from last year's team, but the Knights just seem to reload.
How about Hassan Drame sinking a pair? He came in at 6 of 10 from the free throw line. 0 of 2 against St. John's. Full court press for St. Peter's shows. Risky pass to Jenkins. It got to him in the center of the court. From the corner, a bit too strong on the three from Brandon Powell. Full court pass. Eddard thought about the three in transition, but thought better of it. Instead, he takes the baseline. May have picked his dribble up a bit too early. Matthew Lee bails him out, but he turns it over. Jenkins in traffic, the reverse. And the foul will go against Nadefo.
It's been a competitive game. A lot of fouls that could be called, a lot of fouls that maybe weren't called. Eddard used good judgment on the one play, not making the pass, but then a bad pass there. Jenkins, the quick hands, takes it away. You know he's going to try and push it up the floor. Two defenders giving chase. Jenkins shows the ball, uses the rim to protect, missed it, but he got the foul.
Seemed like there was more contact on the steal from Jenkins than there was on the contest from Nadefo. As Jenkins returns to the line, he has been on fire today with 14 points.
You got to really like the game of Jenkins. He can stroke the three. Tonight he hasn't always settled for it. Had that nice three where he stepped in. He's a willing passer, talked about the assist. So for Coach Horrenda, this is a great guy to have. And you got him for another year.
St. Peter's fans, St. Peter's students starting to get into this as Jenkins will sink 2 more free throws for 15 points on the evening.
And we got a quick look at Rush on the far side of the FDU bench. They're looking at his ankle.
Not a great pass. Hassan Drame turns it over.
So the Peacocks in the beginning of the game seem to be handling the pressure, but the pressure doesn't always get you in the beginning. It wears you down. With 2:10 to go in this first half, the Peacocks really have to value the basketball.
Turnover for number 7 for St. Peter's compared to just 2 for FDU. Malone Key still trying to get on the board. Powell floats it up and gets it off glass.
You see the wild closeout again in the corner, buying the shot fake. Then you're playing 5-on-4. FDU is able to capitalize.
Have to stay on your feet when you close out. Hassan Drame will break the press all on his own. Finds Nadefo going for it all, and he'll go to the line.
Didn't we know that was going to happen
yes,
at some point?
Yes, we did.
Nadefo is going to either try and take it on Williams or Bishop or whoever is in his way. They met at the summit there.
I think he'll jump over a small country if he had to.
And he attracted a lot of attention there. 3 guys going after him.
Always attention on the enigmatic KC Nadefo. So much emotion in his game.
And I'm sure Coach Holloway happy to see him make a free throw.
KC Nadefo, mentioned before, came in 11 of 22 from the line, 4 of 10 against St. John's. It was his career high in free throw attempts, but only sank 4. Free throw shooting costing St. Peter's in that game, just 8 of 19 as a team. And he splits a pair. It looked like that went off of Lee last, and it did.
That's really a tough call for the official along the baseline. The 2 bodies going out of bounds. FDU will get it back. This will allow the Peacocks to apply some full court pressure.
Full court man press showing here for St. Peter's. Saliba not knowing where to go. Looked like that went off of Powell last perhaps, but the referee will say FDU ball.
Here we see the scrum for the loose ball going off the backside of Lee.
Oh, this is a much less advantageous position for FDU and Saliba to inbound from the dead corner. Malone Key surely will be trapped. Picks up his dribble, not the smartest play. He will have to call time.
And I think the freshman Saliba was a little unsure of himself throwing the
shooting. For St. Peter's, it's Fusini Drame leading the charge with 8. Derrick Woods with 7. A much more balanced effort for the men in gray, as 9 players have gone on the score sheet. Jenkins off the press from St. Peter's, again slowing the possession. Down lob at the rim, the catch and the finish.
Peacocks got caught there. Easy pass to the backside of the defense, and now Key starting to get into the act.
First points for Xavier Malone Key, the leading scorer for FDU. 6'4" redshirt junior out of Philadelphia. Closing in on a minute to go here in the first half. Banks steps back.
And that's why you put in all those hours working on your individual moves. He was able to create space and hit the baseline jumper.
Lead back up to 4 for St. Peter's. Brandon Powell, the native of Middletown, New York. It's blocked by Nadefo. Looked like the foul probably went against Hassan Drame. Both teams well over 10 fouls now in the half.
Whether it was a foul or not, that's why you have to play good on-ball defense. Eddard has been burned a couple of times. That breaks down the defense. Someone has to step over and take the charge, and it either usually ends up in a basket or a foul.
So it did look like it was Nadefa who caught Powell with the body. The second foul on KC. The second Peacock with 2 fouls, along with Quinn Taylor, who we haven't seen in some time for that very reason. We get our first look at Oscar Okeke for FDU.
Real hard to talk a guy like Nadefo into taking a charge when he could jump about 1.5 feet over the rim.
I would say so. Close to 40 seconds left here in half number 1. Husseini finds Hassan. Doug Eddard will try from 3 and hit from 3 for the second time.
Peacock's got it up the sideline, then sent it across the court. You know, Eddard wanted that shot even after it bounced away. Went and got it and knocked it down.
Doug Eddard so deadly from 3. One of the best three-point shooters in the MAC already. Only a 1-second difference between game and shot clock. Powell will take it himself with the right hand. Off the hands of Okeke, and Okeke can't find the rim. Shot clock turned off. Eddard with 6 seconds. Banks finds Lee with 2 seconds. Lee has to put it up. He does, and 1.
What a play by Lee. While he was driving, he peeked up at the clock to see how much time there was. He got into the bigger body, used the shoulder to protect, got it off the high glass.
The intuitiveness, the headiness of Matthew Lee continues to astound for St. Peter's and Peacock fans. The largest lead of the game now, 7 for St. Peter's. Lee's first points of this game.
And it's been a bit of a rough appearance for Okeke.
The three-point play completed by Matthew Lee. And the heave will not count. So a solid first half for St. Peter's. They resist.
He's played a solid game distributing the basketball. Hasn't really looked to score. On the FDU side of it, Jenkins with 15 points. Xavier Malone-Key has only attempted 2 shots.
Same starting 5 for both teams to begin the second half. Bishop working on Quinn Taylor. Both players with 2 fouls had to sit for a while in that first half.
I think that was a focal point for Coach Herenda at halftime. Let's get the ball inside.
Bishop now with 4. And you're right, Chris, that's something we touched on earlier, the need for FDU to score the ball in the paint, and Woods will do just that with the slam.
Sometimes you get punished as a defender going for the steal. Bishop caught on the top side. Woods with the hammer.
Woods with 9, he leads the Peacocks, and he's had his best game of the season.
Both teams made 3 threes in the first half. Both teams have gone to a zone, so after man-to-man to start, the Peacocks in a 2-3.
St. Peter's has found success sitting back in that zone. FDU with 9 to shoot. Williams will tee it up. Elijah Williams, just 2 of 9 from 3 coming in.
Good rotation, too strong, but I think the Peacocks are happy with that shot.
Peacocks have held FDU to 3 of 11 shooting from beyond the arc. Husseini Drame in the high post. Woods can pull it out if he wants to. That's something he's worked on in the offseason. The classic flex play showing here for St. Peter's. Lee gets a good look.
Eddard didn't want it, but Lee did in rhythm. The extra pass results in a 3.
And an 11-point lead for St. Peter's. Not just the largest lead of this game, the largest lead that they have had at any point this season. Malone-Key still trying to get into a rhythm. That will help.
A floater, a tough one along the baseline, using arc to get it over the defender.
Just his 4th point. He poured in 29 in FDU's victory over Quinnipiac. Xavier Malone-Key, the catalyst for FDU this season, still looking to get it going. Lee off the ball screen, looking for Woods, who's reposting. Perhaps a mismatch working on Malone-Key. Over the head pass, not sure what he saw there. Taken the other way, Williams dribbles it off of his leg. Taken the other way now by Lee. 3-on-1, Fusini for Woods. Woods, the hesitation, but lays it in the end.
On the previous play, I think Woods should have reacted quicker. He allowed the double team to come. That time, good control, came to a stop, and easily put it in off the glass.
Well, Jenkins walked with the ball. That wasn't called, but threw it away in the end. as Lee runs the break.
Lee looks to his right, 3-on-1. Drame under the basket. There you see the gather by Woods, puts it in with the strong hand, the left hand.
A lot of times we see players walk in that kind of situation when they're not expecting the ball. Woods did well to keep his feet planted. Peacocks lead by 11. Taylor loses the ball off the curl. Jenkins in on Eddert, and that'll be a blocking foul on Doug Eddert.
And that turnover by Taylor, Peacocks had a couple of those that you might label unforced in the first half. Taylor just rushing a bit. Eddert, he's willing to stand and take that charge, but if you don't get it right in the chest, they're usually not going to call it.
A bit audacious, that charge attempt from Doug Eddert, as Jaleel Jenkins, rarely you'll see a charge come from him, as he is so intuitive, so in control,
Shifty.
so poised. That's the perfect word to use.
And a little surprised that they're giving him 2 shots here.
Well, perhaps normally when you see a charge, a block charge situation like that, as Jenkins misses his first free throw of the game, he's now 4 of 5. And Jenkins picked up his 5th steal as well off the Taylor turnover. Normally when a block charge play like that, he'll get the 2 shots.
I think that's what the discussion was about.
Jenkins 1 of 2 from the line now with 16 points to lead all scorers. Peacocks still in control, up by 10. They still have to limit the turnovers, though. The Taylor turnover was their 10th compared to 4 for FDU. St. Peter's averaging a little over 17 turnovers per game. Taylor wide open. The long 2 is true.
That's good offense by the Peacocks. Taylor running along the baseline, not known necessarily as a 3-point shooter, caught it in rhythm and drained it.
Just 4 points for Quinn Taylor. Williams, who has taken a couple threes in this game. Malone Key off the screen. Malone Key with space. Swung for Bishop. Bishop the 3. That's good.
Things heating up here in Jersey City. Both teams exchanging threes. And Malone Key continues to let the game come to him, but you have to wonder at what point where he's going to really try and take it over.
Caleb Bishop at 6'8" was excellent from 3 last season at 42%. Good ball movement here from St. Peter's. Trying to find the key to the zone defense here. Great dish, great fake rather from Fusini Drame as he slams it home. And we may have a technical foul here on Fusini.
He was excited. He hung on the rim.
Hanging on the rim. We saw this in the exhibition game that St. Peter's played here against New Jersey City University. Fusini did this exact same thing and got teed up in that one.
He just used a great ball fake, sent the defender airborne, and he sort of ruined it by doing a chin-up on the rim.
Fusini Drame, all the talent still so young. Jaleel Jenkins will take the technical free throws. Point number 17 for Jenkins. But even with the technical foul, certainly a teaching moment from Shaheen Holloway to Fusini Drame, but the poise when catching the ball down low against the zone defense to make that kind of a fake and go up as strong as he did to the rim, that's...
Well, and you have experience with that. Usually when you dunk, you just run right back down the floor, correct? No hanging on the rim for you.
Well, when I do it in the video game, I usually make the players do a little bit of a dance. Malone Key down low. Bishop trying to answer with a dunk of his own, but can't finish.
He wanted to foul. He hung on the rim
Woods
for a second.
Probably should give it up and does in the end. But St. Peter's still a comfortable lead by 10 points. Lee looking for Derrick Woods. Going to work on Williams. Great drop step move. Can't finish. Quinn Taylor the jam!
Whoa, Taylor going above everyone, reading the miss perfectly.
Quinn Taylor not known for his dunking ability, but got up there and cleaned up the mess. St. Peter's with its largest lead at 12.
He showed it a few times over his career, but you're not really expecting it as you would with a guy like Nadefo.
Powell splits defenders. He tries to answer with the left, but cannot. Quinn Taylor comes up with a rebound. Taylor, the team's leading rebounder last season at 5.6. At 6'4", just shows how tough and how durable he is. Can do it all, can play defense, can take charges, and can get up there when need be. Fusini will try the three and connect.
He didn't hesitate, in rhythm, got his footwork right and buried it.
The first career three for Fusini Drame. And the best performance of the season, no doubt, for St. Peter's continues, up by 15 points. Powell thought about the response from three. Instead, it's Malone Key. Malone Key will back it out with 7 to shoot. In on Eddard. Nice feed for Bishop. Stripped by Lee. Still loose. It's Powell with 2 to shoot. They don't know how much time is left. And the Knights do not get the shot off.
Coach Tuesday. FDU had that trip down to Kentucky, and maybe we're seeing the effects of that now. Peacocks really energized on both ends of the floor.
Well, not only that, St. Peter's has just played 5 games this season. One of the few teams in the nation to play as few games as they have. FDU with 8. But with such a young team, you would think the experience, you'd want more of that for St. Peter's as we get a foul off the ball on Fairleigh Dickinson.
Woods got pushed. I've liked the fight out of Woods tonight. He really has called for the ball. One thing he could do, though, is be a little more decisive when he gets it. Don't wait for that double team. But he really wants it tonight.
Derrick Woods at 11 points here against Wagner. This perhaps the best game of his St. Peter's tenure. 13 to shoot for Matthew Lee. Lee with 6 points. Lee, the great hesitation dribble. Good feed to Fusini, and he will go to line.
What a layoff by Lee, attacking the rim. Looked like maybe he could have thrown it out to Woods, but he continued on with the dribble. And we saw that earlier when he threaded the needle on a pass. That was a shovel, caught him right in stride.
Fusini had the best game of his young college career against St. John's. 10 points, 5 rebounds on 4 of 7 shooting. He has topped that here tonight with 14 points. Now 3 of 4 from the line, 5 of 7 from the floor, and 6 rebounds. Fusini Drame did not start the year off very well, but has come back in these last 2 games and showed the potential that he showed in high school as well as at the international level. And the Peacocks with a 17-point lead. In the lane, Daniel Rodriguez can't find the rim, and it's Fusini the other way. Overhead pass, Woods can't come up with it, and it's taken by Malone Key the other way. Powell catch and shoot, the block from Fusini Drame.
Drame doing a little bit of everything. Last time down the floor, he forced the action a bit, but there he recovers and gets the block.
And there you see the length of Fusini Drame, perhaps his best physical attribute. The Peacocks so far can do no wrong here in the second half. Fusini, that one went off of his foot and will go the other way. St. Peter's with its 12th turnover.
And one thing I think Fusini's going to have to work on is driving left. You can see they're putting him on the left elbow, and he did that in the first half. He catches, he's able to quickly drive to the strong side. Defenses are going to start to adjust to that.
So Fusini will make way for his brother Hassan as Taylor and Woods will sit as well in favor of Banks and Casey Nadefo. The turnover margin, usually an advantage for teams playing against St. Peter's, as Bishop tries for it all and will go to the line for 2. My goodness.
You could see that coming from a mile away. Caught it in the middle of the floor after they got it up the sideline, and Nadefo wasn't in a great position there.
Well, the contact from Nadefo, which is his 3rd foul, the contact saw the ball leave Bishop's hand. He lost control of it in midair, and that's why he wasn't able to make what would surely have been a top 10 play. Caleb Bishop started his high school career here in Jersey City at St. Peter's Prep, ended it with the legend Bob Hurley at St. Anthony High School.
Sadly, we're not going to see St. Anthony's on too many rosters.
Only one of the last few, Caleb Bishop, as well as his teammate Oscar Okeke. St. Anthony High School closing in 2017. The Hall of Famer Bob Hurley Sr., the pillar of Jersey City. St. Peter's up by 15 with 12 and a half to go in the second half. Cameron Jones back into the game. He played 5 minutes in the first half, made his only shot attempt, which was a 3. Still finding his legs coming off the injury. Quick move from Banks.
And Banks got it up on the glass. The reverse English went high and got it to drop through.
Darryl Banks with 6 points. Jaleel Jenkins back in for FDU, trying to spark his Knights. And that's going to be a foul on the floor against Darryl Banks with the hook. But St. the 5th, a trip to Hartford next Wednesday is in store. But with a young team that is not used to having a lead like this, Chris, how should St. Peter's handle these last 12 minutes?
Well, you want to play with the same type of pace. You want to be aggressive on the defensive end, but you don't want to play recklessly. So this is a skill that has to be developed as well, where you just don't want to nurse the ball up the floor and let the opposition get back in the game. So all of these games for this young St. Peter's team will be a learning experience, all these situations that will only benefit them in MAC play.
St. Peter's now shooting 20 of 35 from the floor as the referees will stop play, I believe, with a clock issue. Ron Taberski directing traffic. 20 of 35 from the floor for St. Peter's. That's good for 57%. 17 of 20 from the line, out-rebounding FDU 32-11, including 10 offensive rebounds, as the officials will go to the monitor to check the clock. On the other hand, FDU shooting 38% from the floor, just 4 of 13 from 3. This would have to be considered, Chris, to be the best game in the Shaheen Holloway era.
Absolutely, on both ends of the floor, the Peacocks putting it together. And what a difference it makes when you can knock down a shot, especially a 3. Peacocks have struggled in that area so far this season, but you know, you hit one and then you start hitting another, and even Foussini Drame at the foul line after he hit that 3, his foul shot looked better.
And the dunks help as well, but the three-point shooting for St. Peter's. Doug Eddard 2 for 2. Cameron Jones with the 3. Foussini Drame even adding a 3. Foussini Drame with 15 points and 8 rebounds. The best game of his young career.
And don't forget Quinn Taylor, that flying dunk over a couple of heads, and then he steps out beyond the arc on the right wing and in rhythm 3. So pretty much everyone that has played has contributed.
A team effort. St. Peter's as deep as they have been in a long time. Williams going to work off the inbound on Woods. He can't finish. And Hassan Drame will come up with it. Aaron Estrada is back in. He is the only Peacock who has appeared in this game who has not scored. He has added 3 rebounds and 3 assists. But we focused on Estrada before this game. The potential he has, as it's knocked away from him by Jenkins with 12 to shoot. And I think that's a case, Chris, of just, you know, going for the feel of the game. One player will have a good game one night, and another player will have a good one another night. That's what comes with the depth.
The flip side to that is, what do you do in a close game? Who's going to take the big shot? Is it just based on that night, or do you have a guy when you don't have anyone really except one player averaging in double figures? You know, who is that go-to guy?
Well, Strata turned it over on the 5-second violation last year. There was no doubt as to who the go-to guy was for St. Peter's. Devontae Turner, the all-conference guard, who has since graduated. And Williams, with a full head of steam, gets it off glass.
Banked it home from straight away. And Turner, on any given night, if he really wanted to, he could put up 30 points. I don't think that's the way the Peacocks are built this season.
First field goal for Elijah Williams. He now has 3 points. Estrada, the creative player from Woodbury, New Jersey, played for an excellent head coach in high school in Mark Taylor. Banks high elevation on the shot, but can't find the rim. Jenkins leading the break, but throws it right to Estrada, and Jenkins will commit the foul, just the team's 3rd.
Estrada with the quick hands, even though he really hasn't been that involved on the offensive end. He had 4 steals against St. John's, and that goes to what you were talking about. Players have to accept their roles. It's not always going to be their night to score the basketball.
Second foul on Jenkins.
and you still have to play defense. You still have to do those things that Coach Holloway expects from you. But I like Estrada running the point because he has that size. He can see over the defense if a double team comes.
Off the dribble handoff. Cameron Jones looks to get back onto the score sheet. Hassan Drame couldn't find his pivot foot and walked.
And you could see Jones finding his way. That's not really his game, driving into the paint. Got stuck a little bit, and the Peacocks end up with a turnover.
Shaheen Holloway always finds something to be frustrated with, as is his MO. Such an intense coach, such a demanding coach to play for, but his players through the years all have so much love and admiration for him.
Because I don't think you have to guess what he's thinking.
No. Williams will tee up from downtown again and comes up short. Now 0-3 from 3. Good ball movement. Jones for another 3. Can't find it this time. Hassan misses the bunny.
Good transition offense by the Peacocks. They work the ball around. A wide open 3. Defenders run out. You get a chance to offensive rebound.
Jenkins can't convert on the step back. Loose ball grabbed by Bishop. Williams taking it in on Woods off glass. And that one will be a foul on Hassan Drame from the push underneath. The emphatic call from Ryan Corbett, the referee.
Jenkins carried FDU in the first half, 15 points, just 2 points in the second.
Perhaps an extra step there from Elijah Williams. See Drame coming in on the backside. Malone Key in the corner, who has still been quiet here tonight. Malone Key finds Bishop for 3. It's good. Bishop 42% from 3 last year, his second tonight.
Malone Key breaking down the defense, getting into the paint, the inside out 3.
So the lead down to 13 for St. Peter's. Estrada finds Hassan Drame. Banks for Jones. Jones with 10 to shoot. Hassan will tee it up from downtown. It's long. Bishop the board. Can FDU get on a bit of a run here? St. Peter's has not scored in the last 3 minutes of game time. Bishop for another 3. That one's off to the right. Williams tries to save it and does. Almost the heel of Malone Key on the midcourt line, but just kept it off. At a fresh 20, the shot clock not going off right now. Surely the referees will stop the game, and they will. The shot clock did reset to the requisite 20, but it did not this year. Starting this year, the shot clock resetting to 20 seconds after an offensive rebound. Brand new rule in the college game, as well as the extended 3-point line. So Jenkins to inbound. Williams, the full head of steam, in on Woods. Blocking foul call as Hassan hits the deck.
Elijah Williams, I think he knew what he was going to do with it when he caught the ball. I mean, it was just a hard drive, attacking the rim, and
that's not good position from Hassan
I don't think that's how
Drame.
you draw a charge.
No.
But Woods got him on the arm first, right? Or are they going to give it to Drame?
Well, the
hey, give it
foul
to Drame.
will go against Fusini Drame. That was not Hassan Drame, and instead his twin brother, as Williams will sink his 4th point. Won't be the first time that somebody has confused the two twins. Identical twins they are, both same height, 6'7", both from Bamako, Mali, and both have shown so much physical potential and have recently shown some in-game potential as well. 6-0 run now for FDU, lead down to 12 for the Peacocks. Derrick Woods hasn't scored in some time for St. Peter's. Quinn Taylor, who had the hellacious dunk earlier, now with 7 to shoot. Taylor will take it himself. Go up in traffic, gets swatted away by Williams, out to Lee. Lee with 2 to shoot, floats it up. It's long, but it's going to be out off of FDU. So St. Peter's retains off of a missed shot once again. As we will go to another break, Eve Lapis and Maurice Joseph, the former head coach of George Washington, on staff for Craig Herenda. The defending NEC champions off the screen. Ederda Wide open three, and you don't want to leave him that wide open.
And if you're a coach off the timeout, you run the play to perfection, and you got a knockdown three.
3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Doug Eddert with 9 points. Pass Jenkins, that pass goes out of bounds. Another turnover for FDU. That's their 7th compared to 14 for St. Peter's.
FDU was creeping back in the game, and sometimes it just takes one shot to stop the bleeding, so to speak, and now FDU right back with a turnover.
Doug Eddert, 71 threes last season in his senior year at Bergen Catholic. As good as it gets from beyond the arc. And there it is again, Doug Eddert with his 4th three.
He's got great form. His set point is a little lower than you see a lot of players, but that allows him to shoot from deeper range. His feet are quick. He's ready to shoot.
And in the blink of an eye, the lead back to 17, but now back to 15 as Jenkins finishes at the rim.
You talked about Coach Holloway never being satisfied. Team gets a couple of threes, lead by 17, give up an easy basket. And he forgot all about those shots by Eddert.
Under 7 to play here in the second half. Doug Eddert ignoring the cutting Quinn Taylor. Matthew Lee lobs to Woods, who slams it home.
Peacocks have gotten whatever they've wanted on the offensive end tonight. They like to bottle this.
Bottle it, save it, put it in your data file, whatever it is. St. Peter's with an excellent offensive output. And Bishop finishes on the other end with the lob.
Beautiful lead pass by Jenkins to Bishop, who softly laid it in.
Bishop now with 14 points. And Jenkins with his 2nd assist of the game. Lee will tee it up and drain it.
And that's because the guys are cutting hard. There's good motion. Taylor drew the defense just a bit because he cut to the basket. Eddert made the wide pass. And Lee, another in-rhythm three for the Peacocks.
The lead back up to 18. Williams thought about the three, but thought better of it. Jenkins, the playmaker extraordinaire for the Knights. Lob for Williams. Malone Key, can he get back on the board? Yes, he can. Just his 7th point of the game. So Greg Herenda will call timeout.
Good for a long time.
Peacocks 12 of 19 from the floor in the second half. 5 of 7 from 3. Peacocks came in last in the nation in field goal percentage. Full court pressure showing here for Fairleigh Dickinson.
And making a couple not only changes the scoreboard, but it changes the game as well, how teams have to defend you.
Quinn Taylor with just 6 points here tonight, but does it all outside of the score sheet. Flex play showing here for St. Peter's. Eddert off the screen again, almost teed it up. Finds Fusini Drami instead. He can't finish at the rim. Derrick Woods will go to the line for 2.
What a job by Eddert to read the defensive coverage. Knew he didn't have the shot. Got the bounce pass to the side to get the angle and found a cutter. So Eddert showing that he's just not a three-point shooter.
He is not. A recall in the game against St. Francis. The victory for St. Peter's with about a minute left. Doug Eddert drove nicely inside, laid it in for what was really a game-clinching layup, as Derrick Woods will see the free throw line once again. 14 points now on the day, 6 of 7 from the line, and his offensive rebound a moment ago, the 14th for St. Peter's.
So moving forward for this season, one of the brightest spots of this game has been Derrick, because he's demanded the ball underneath, he's taken contact, he's battled for rebounds, and the Peacocks are going to need him this season.
Well, the Peacocks will need all the help they can get next Wednesday. They travel up to Hartford to the XL Center to battle UConn. The Huskies is coming off a tough loss last night to Indiana at Madison Square Garden. Williams' pass inside is kicked by the Peacocks.
Not a real good idea on that pass, and I think Coach Herenda felt the same way.
Greg Herenda just sitting calmly on the bench right now. Next week will be St. Peter's 3rd game against a power conference opponent, falling this year to Providence and St. John's. Jenkins will find Williams, and he's bumped by Derrick Woods. That'll be the 6th team foul on St. Peter's.
You're up by 16, you think you're safe, but one thing you obviously don't want to do is let the clock stop and have the opponent shoot free throws. And that's one of the challenges of playing Coach Holloway's style. You want to play hard but not foul. And there we see Eddard. He's going to have to work on that. He's been beaten off the dribble a few times tonight. There he commits it.
Well, Eddard playing defense with his arms there, has to learn to cut that baseline off with his body, have 1 foot out of bounds when cutting the baseline off. It'll bring 1 and 1 for Brandon Rush, the 6'3" freshman from Warrensville, Ohio. Rush started this game, has picked up 6 points. Eight of 11 from the line this year. And Rush now 2 of 3 on the day. Looking ahead as well, St. Peter's with a game at the Barclays Center on December the 22nd against LIU, now christened as the Sharks. LIU plays 1 game a year usually at Barclays Center, and that happened to be the Peacocks this season, so a tremendous experience that will be for these men in gray. 74-60, the Peacocks on top, closing in on 4.5 minutes left in this one. Fusini Drame, another simple flex play for St. Peter's. They seem to have had a man open every time they've run it, but now with just 5 to shoot for Matthew Lee. Lee darts inside but turns it over. Rush will work on Eddard on the fast break, eludes him but can't finish.
Good job by Eddard to create that distraction and not foul.
Lee wide open is Drame. And Drame, the pump fake. Fusini Drame will go to the line. Very patient play that time from Fusini.
Oh, he might have got killed if he wasn't.
Well, there is that.
That's one of those dangerous plays where you get the man in the air and you see guys go up and then you just hear a thud. Previous offensive possession for the Peacocks with a 14-point lead. You turn it over, but at least you turned it over 1 second on the shot clock. You took some time off.
15 foul on FDU. St. Peter's will not open the max slate with an easy one as Woods goes in for the right hand. The dunk by Fusini will not count as it'll be a foul instead on Rush. Woods with 2 more free throws. It will not be the easiest of MAC openers for St. Peter's as they will open up with the toughest possible game on January the 3rd at Iona, the heavy favorites to win their 5th consecutive MAC tournament championship. Unfortunately for Iona, their excellent head coach Tim Cluse still has not coached this season due to an undisclosed medical ailment. So we wish all the best to Tim Cluse. We hope to see him on the sideline very soon for the Gales. As Derrick Woods splits another pair, he now has 15 points on the day. Woods' career high is 19 points. That came as a member of the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. His career high here at St. Peter's is 14 points, so he has just set his new standard as a Peacock. As a foul off the ball on St. Peter's will bring 1 and 1 to FDU coming off of the other side of this break, and he will shoot 1 and 1.
And absent from that list, Xavier Malone Key.
Malone Key, very quiet today, just 7 points. He's played 27 minutes. He's only picked up 1 foul, so no foul trouble for him. Just 4 shots attempted. St. Peter's has done an excellent job defending him.
Bishop is just a solid player overall. Comes in averaging just under 13 points per game. Gets on the glass. Gives you total effort. He's going to have a big year in the NEC.
Sounds like a Bob Hurley coached player. Hassan Drame will break the press. He is in with his brother Fusini. Rarely do we see the two share the court at the same time. As that'll be a touch foul. And we'll send Doug Eddard to the line for 1 and 1 off the 7th team foul. As we get our first look at Caleb Baker, number 11 in dark blue, 6'0" freshman from Oakville, Ontario, in for the first time for FDU.
That had to be a thrill for Baker, starting his only game at Notre Dame.
That's exactly right.
And you know Eddard loves getting to the foul line. Not many attempts so far this season when you're behind the 3-point arc so much, but a touch foul out front. And he'll look to remain perfect.
Doug Eddard now 7 of 7 from the line this year, now 8 of 8. I'd be hard-pressed to see too many misses from Doug Eddard this season. You are a stickler for shooting form, Chris, and you will find few better than Doug Eddard.
I don't think the announcer jinx will work on him, so you're good. Talk about him all day.
Well, you are the superstitious one, as Williams will get a post touch working on Hassan Drame, skipping it to the corner for Rush with 11 seconds to shoot, and Rush steps out of bounds.
Good form beats superstition.
So that's the 8th turnover for FDU. St. Peter's still having trouble taking care of the ball with 15 turnovers. But their hot shooting has alleviated what damage may have been called by those turnovers. Against St. John's, the Peacocks turned it over 19 times, but also forced 19 turnovers. As it's Fusini full head of steam, but he's swatted away by Williams, and it's Rush the other way. He finds Jenkins in the corner. St. Peter's trapping Jenkins. Surprised to see that up by 15. Williams spins in the lane and wins with the right hand.
Fusini, obviously not a good decision, but I'll give him this. He sprinted back up the floor.
He is so fast with those long strides. And a turnover as Rush gets the steal and bonks it off of Doug Eddard out of bounds.
What an alert play by the freshman, Rush. And FDU's not going to quit. They're going to keep coming at you.
What are you doing?
Rush in the team's loss to Lafayette picked up 13 points. As the heads-up play from the freshman from Ohio.
Eddard in a tough spot there. You see the ball flying at you, just had sort of turn away. Had no chance on that one.
So Woods will come in for Hassan Drame. Greg Herenda will go back to the drawing board after this one. FDU will host Princeton on the 14th and visit LaSalle on December the 21st before they begin NEC play. St. Francis, Pennsylvania, the preseason favorite in that conference, but the Bryant Bulldogs have looked excellent this year as Williams is strong on the 3. Bryant picked up a huge victory yesterday at Fordham, and they've looked very impressive this year.
How you feeling about that? You okay?
We won't talk about it. 13-point lead for St. Peter's. The lob for Woods. It went off the rim, but Woods corralled it and finished in the end.
He stayed with it. He lost where he was on the floor. Couldn't get over the front of the rim, so he banked it in from the right side.
It was such a good pass that it hits squarely on the rim. Woods seemed to trap it on the rim as Malone Key for 3.
And FDU fans wondering where that has been.
Xavier Malone Key now with 10 points. And Quinn Taylor is fouled in the backcourt. He will go to the line for 1-1.
Malone Key had 17 at Notre Dame. He had 18 in the game against St. Peter's a season ago. Just really hasn't looked to assert himself.
There you see another St. Anthony High School product, Oscar Okeke. The junior originally from Nigeria. He played on the final team for Bob Hurley back in 2017. Quinn Taylor with 6 points, make that 7 on 3 of 6 shooting, that being his first free throw attempt. When you have a man like Quinn Taylor only playing 23 minutes in a game like he's done tonight, that says a lot about the depth of your team.
And it also shows you that he's put in the perfect role. Peacocks with a lead right now, and when MAC play comes around, St. Peter's is up. You can expect Taylor on the floor when you need a defensive stop.
Malone Key drives the lane out for Jenkins. Malone Key wide open again for 3. Misses it long this time. Williams comes up with it. Williams bullies his way through. Still can't finish on the 3rd attempt. And Lee comes away with it.
Peacocks have to continue to box out. You saw about 3 St. Peter's players all the way underneath the rim. Weren't really a good position.
Here.
And a lot of Peacock fans looking ahead to January 5th, a return by John Dunn, his 2nd trip back to the Anatelli Center.
John Dunn and his Marist Red Foxes fell 3 times in the Peacocks last season, including in the MAC tournament in overtime. And another issue perhaps with the clock, as Greg Herenda wondering what's happening. So the referees, I think, originally called to reset the shot clock, but it did not originally reset. With just a minute 13 as the Peacocks will, in the end, cruise to the victory nonetheless. Pick up their second win of the season. Both coming here at home. We're used to seeing St. Peter's, Chris, have to grind it out at home in thrilling fashion. Almost every home game that this team played last season wound up as a one-possession game or an overtime. This is a sight for sore eyes for Peacock fans, which perhaps would rather not want to break a sweat.
Well, it's been easy on the eyes, and St. Peter's ability to knock down the three will certainly change the game and the way they play. So you know you're going to get that defensive effort under Coach Holloway. But now on the offensive end, you don't have to grind it out all the time. A couple of threes can just alter everything. So when FDU was trying to get back in it, one of the biggest shots of the game was Eddard hitting that three off the timeout, and that gave the Peacocks some breathing room. FDU turned it over right after that.
It was an 11-point game at that point. FDU had gone on a bit of a run, a 6-0 run to be exact. St. Peter's from the line as well. They were 8 of 19 against St. John's. Tonight, 23 of 28. They've grabbed 43 rebounds to 20 for FDU. And while they have turned it over 17 times to 9, 15 offensive rebounds for St. Peter's have given them just ample free possessions. We mentioned before how it would have to be FDU dominating in the paint. It's been St. Peter's with 30 paint points to 20, with 12 second chance points as well. And just as we talk about the great free throw shooting, Woods misses the front end, but he has been excellent tonight with 17 points, 10 rebounds, as Malone Key hits another three.
Some coaches feel like you shouldn't really be in a comfort zone. You got to earn every minute you get.
Estrada with no points tonight, and think about this. This is without Dallas Watson and Nazir Bostic. So even this lineup that we've seen here tonight with 10 different players scoring the basketball out of 11, even that doesn't capture the full scope of the depth of this team.
And if I'm either one of those guys that has been out sick, I'm going to make sure I take my medicine with the way these guys played. Like, this is a competition. Do you know who Wally Pipp is?
Yes, I do. Replaced by Lou Gehrig.
There you go. That's what you do in your free time.
Oh, that and
a lot of reading.
That and watch a lot of basketball as Quinn Taylor connects for his 9th point. Trying to be the 4th Peacock in double figures here tonight. Matthew Lee not too far behind with 9. Taylor's added 4 rebounds as well, 2 assists and a steal, and 10 for Quinn Taylor, the senior out of Amarillo, Texas, just one of 2 seniors on this team. And the Peacocks on their way to picking up a key victory here at home as Baker cannot hit.
Sort of a case, I'm going to make sure I get a shot tonight.
Well, you might as well. As Matthew Lee now with his jersey untucked. If Chris Paul were on the floor right now, he'd try and signal for a delay of game violation. Incident that happened in the NBA recently. Lee looking for his 10th and 11 points. Instead, he kicks out for Quinn Taylor, the cherry on top.
And that just shows the unselfishness of the Peacocks. Lee easily could have taken that shot, but the freshman kicks it out to the senior Taylor.
Malone Key will take what is likely the last shot of this game for Fairleigh Dickinson. Sandrame comes up with it, and a virtuoso performance for St. Peter's here at home. Victorious over Fairleigh Dickinson, 86-70, shooting 52%.